If fantasy and romance are what you seek, featuring heroines who aren't quite so meek, with book talk and Instagram full of deceit, simply listen to our podcast, Our Picks of the Week.
I was surprised by your pick this week.
I know. I needed the time frame that we're recording this is when both Jordan and I just finished.
Hot garbage is what we just finished, but more to follow on that.
Yeah, Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. And so I needed some kind of reminder of why I loved Romantasy, because that book left me with, existential crisis maybe. And I was like, no, what, Throne of Glass, that was like a solid one. It's been on my top list since I first read it when they came out on, Teen Vogue or whatever the fuck it was. And so I listened to it and it was cute. I remember why I like Romantasy. I remember why I like, strong female leads. I will say on the second read through as an older person, I now understand some of the complaints people had about Throne of Glass. Basically, if you haven't already heard about this book, would be crazy at this point, but
it is.
It's old as fuck.
Well, not compared to some of our other choices, but
fair.
What, 2010?
Earlier? Maybe earlier. Now I'm curious because it's had to have been out. Because I was in our computer room reading these novellas. So it had to be a long time ago. 2012. Okay. That's not as early as I thought it was.
And this is prior to ACOTAR, right?
Yes. Yeah. This was her first ever book that she published. But basically the premise is that we follow the story of Selena Sardathian, who is the most notorious assassin in all of Ardalan, which is their fake country or whatever. She is, I want to say 18 in the events of these books. So this was the first time that I had a heroine that was a little bit older than I was. And I'm like, oh my God. Because
18 is so mature. Of course she's a world-renowned assassin.
Yeah. And of course the love interest hinted at love interest in the beginning is 21 or something. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh my God, an older man. But basically she has been in a labor camp. There's a bunch of war prisoners in there, and she has survived for the past year somehow, but she's really not doing well until the prince and his, the captain of the guard show up, and they're like, hey, we have a deal. We have a proposition for you. And she's like, I'm listening, I guess. I have a lot of
hair
appointments.
Toss, yeah.
I think she literally does have a hair toss in there. But essentially, he wants to piss off his dad. And so they're having a competition to find the king's champion who will, they're taking over the entire world, and this person will go out and do his dirty deeds, basically. And so his son, the prince, wants to find whatever option will piss him off the most. And he's like, obviously, Selena Sardathian, who has been ravaging the land and making him look like an idiot for the past, 4 or 5 years. Except nobody knew that the, most notorious assassin was a teenage girl. And so they kept that bit on the down low. And so she has to pretend to be a petty jewel thief so that people still don't know and he doesn't totally piss off his dad. So she agrees. They do this competition basically. And that's kind of the bulk of the book as they go through these events. And it's interesting because Sarah Maas, to avoid that repetitive thing that we kind of you get to the third event and you're like, can this fucking end? Mm-hmm. She added in an additional plot line that kind of propels it into a series, which I thought was pretty clever now that we had experienced that.
Not just a series. There's 7+ books.
Yeah,
right?
This is I don't know.
Plus prequels, novellas, yeah.
Yeah. So this is the first, I think, in 8 or 9 books. But so she kind of introduces that, overarching plot line. It's cute. I feel Selena is kind of unlikable, but in an interesting,
she's a battle-hardened Regina George.
Yeah, a mean girl a little bit.
Yeah.
But she's also kind of lovable.
And funny.
Yeah, yeah. She is Regina George. I don't know how I feel about that. Interesting. So yeah, she's a little bit unlikable, but in a likable way. So I don't know. There's definitely some parts that read a little bit young, but I will say in comparison to some of the Romantasy books that have come out, if you want somebody that's actually competent and progresses the plot forward,
she also grows through the series, which I enjoy because I think I made it through maybe book 5 or 6.
Oh, that's fair.
I was trying to power through to get to the actual romance,
yeah,
because it takes a while to build. the real one.
Yeah.
And she does so much growing as a heroine, as a person with these relationships with all these other side characters that it does keep you intrigued.
Yeah.
And I read it, like, I did not read it as a teenager. I read it as mid-20s, I think.
Yeah.
So
I think that starts with her being sort of like a complex or maybe like slightly flawed character. Because like if you start out with someone perfect, there's nowhere that they can grow to. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. I didn't think that it would stand up the test of time, but it did. I will say if you haven't approached this series, my personal opinion, there's a lot of controversy about this, about when to read the novellas. I think you should read them first because I think it kind of softens some of her negative characteristics, like her.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, because she can come off as kind of like prideful and a little bit of a mean girl. But when you get these novellas and you realize how, like, not traumatized, but yeah, traumatized, like how much she's gone through as like a younger person to get to this point, I feel like you kind of like understand her more as a person. So it's a little bit easier because some people are like, oh, read the first one and then read halfway through the second one and then read the novellas. It's like, what? Just read the novellas first. Like
They are written as prequels, so
yeah.
just do it.
As God intended. But it was fun. I don't know. I recommend it if you need a little like palate cleanser. Similar books, if you have read this and you want something new, but you've probably already read these. So whatever order you need. Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. Just similar like age frame silliness a little
Training,
bit.
quest.
Yeah. A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I didn't realize how similar these books are.
Oh, we need one with more romance and it's like center stage and it doesn't take 7 books.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. And then also The Bridge Kingdom by Danielle Jensen. She's an assassin, I want to say, in that one, but like not really. Because that is my one major gripe about Throne of Glass is we're like told constantly that she's like the best and the baddest and like knows all these things. But like we're given one scene at most that like proves it. And it's like, okay, like I would like some kind of murder, please.
I think it's interesting that if you did enjoy Fourth Wing and ACOTAR and the Bridge Kingdom, or actually, let me backtrack because my brain ain't working. If you did not like those books, you're probably not going to like Throne of Glass because it does cater to that general readership. Something that came to mind, I know you didn't like this one. So this is The Girl of Fire and Thorns, which is a trilogy by Ray Carson, but it's got a similar plot setup, which is like huge character growth. The heroine transforms herself throughout the series. There's like multiple love interests, kind of. There's an overarching plot. So if you did not like these, big name ones, that might be more your speed.
That's actually a good point because I think if your main beef with all of these is the type of heroine, you'd probably like the heroine. And what is her name? Ray something?
I don't know what her name is. The author is Ray Carson.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. But yeah. So it was a little blast from the past. Good palate cleanser. I might continue with the series because I love her like final love interest. That's like Rowan is like in top tier.
I powered through all those books just to get to him.
I know. I feel that.
It felt kind of lackluster though once you do get to it.
I could see that. I feel like it was, I don't know, like you have to get through so much to get there that it's kind of like, okay, whatever. But yeah, Throne of Glass, solid.
It's not
quintessential. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, from Katie's shelf to yours.
We'll see you on the next page. Hi, readers. Like what you've been hearing? Check out the Spice Archive at notanotherheroine.com to see all of our reviews and ratings. And if you'd like to support our growing library, find us on Patreon and get access to exclusive bonus content.
If you'd like to just listen, we post new episodes every Monday and Wednesday on Spotify, Apple, and Amazon. Thanks for listening.